Lindsay Kahn, or Kuhn. You want to come up here, ma'am? And she's here to present an award, I believe.
That's true.
Lindsay's an auditor from the state of Ohio, from David Yost's office, so the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, I will be clear. I'm not personally an auditor, and I say that because, as I was teasing your law director earlier, I don't want you to think this is a shakedown. This is, in fact, quite an honor to be here this evening. We audit about 5,900 government entities across the state of Ohio, but very few actually qualify to receive an award, let alone actually receive it. So not only do we have that aspect, but what I'm presenting this evening for your Director of Finance is actually the gold standard of awards. It is the highest achievement that you can earn in our office, which is the AOS Award with distinction. So as I'd mentioned, we have 5,900 entities that we audit, but maybe 5%, a little bit less than 5%, receive this award. And so basically, I will read you just the juicy parts of this letter. I know that you have a lot to take care of this evening, but essentially this does mean that you had a clean audit. It didn't contain any findings for recovery, material citations, material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, or questionable costs. And although I think a lot of folks think that, being an auditor or being on the finance team, being in the actual department is about crunching numbers and, hopefully reconciling everything. But it's so much more in terms of compliance and working in concert with your council and your administration and your mayor and just so much more. Many of you that are on the finance side actually understand that. And so it's really a feather in your cap. This gentleman certainly does a great job bringing in awards in other entities as well, but he brought home to Avon Lake the AOS Award with distinction. So with that, I would like to congratulate you for being an excellent steward of taxpayer dollars. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell and Council. As I've said before, this may be awarded to me, but it is, in fact, a reflection of all of the individuals in the Finance Department, effectively all of us, because we work very well together, and Council does its part in looking over the ordinances and the appropriations that we have to do as part of that larger compliance issue. So this goes to all of us, from the tax budget to the annual appropriation ordinance to all the supplementals, and getting all that done in a timely manner. So this is much yours as it is the Finance Department's. So thank you.
Mr. President, congratulations.
I got a letter today from the Ohio Secretary of State, John Husted, and he's referring to the upcoming November 7th general election. Ohio voters will decide a number of local issues and races. Ohioans will also vote on 2 statewide ballot issues. Issue 1, a proposed constitutional amendment, rights for crime victims. In Issue 2, proposed law to require state agencies not to pay more for prescription drugs than the Federal Department of Veterans Affairs require state payment of attorney fees and expenses to specific individuals for defense of the law. So those have been on TV, and you've gotten some extremely biased views, particularly on Issue 2. So the Secretary of State recommends you go to his website, which is www.ohiosecretaryofstate.gov. That's ohiosecretaryofstate.gov, and click on Know the Statewide Issues button. And they will give you information, wording that was submitted by both parties explaining their position. We do have Issue 14, which is a proposed renewal of a tax levy for our paramedic services, a renewal of the tax for the benefit of the City of Avon Lake for the purpose of providing and maintaining ambulance, paramedic, and emergency medical services operated by the fire department at a rate not to exceed 2 mils for each $1 valuation. The amount of monies brought in by that is, according to the auditor, is $1.630 million. It is a 3-year levy. This is not a tax increase, and the effective millage is actually a little bit less than 2.0, but it's a negligible reduction. As more structures are built and more property is constructed in Avon Lake, those properties help share to pay for that $1.63 million. So there's actually a little drop. So that's on the ballot as well.
The Veterans Park Restroom building the work is commencing starting tomorrow. So this project will go on for the next month or so as that restroom building finally goes up. As I had stated before, I would let council and the residents know once I have some dates when the traffic light will be installed. Right now, the signal company that we are working with is trying to coordinate a date for testing of the active signal with the railroad, and it is yet to be determined. So I will keep council informed and the public informed once that goes. Signage will be installed when the light is actually turned to flash, because once you start seeing it flash, it will be 2 weeks before it is that fully activated. Carvo Paving is back in town working on State Route 83. They should be finishing up with driveways tomorrow on the driveway repair. So this has been a very long project and very arduous project as far as the time that it's taken to get this completed, but I'm glad to see that there is hopefully an end in sight. And lastly, branch pickup ends the end of October, or I should say will be suspended at the end of October as we get into full leaf season. People can still, as of the month of October, put their yard waste out into designated cans that Republic will pick up if they're designated yard waste, as well as the brown bags through the end of October. But after that, we will have crews out there with the leaf trucks and commence our fall cleanup.
Mrs. Vanderbosch.
Thank you. I have two announcements. One, Trash Day, this is really apropos that this is mentioned. The number one issue that the carriers have and that the solid waste management districts across Ohio have with trash has to do with contamination. And the contamination is actually in the recycled goods. And so what they're asking us to do as residents and businesses and industries is to really be careful what we put into our recycled goods. If you think that something might go in but you're not sure, check it on the back. And if it doesn't have the emblem, put it into your trash. So contamination is not just a dirty item like a jug of spaghetti sauce, but it's also putting a plastic in there or a styrofoam in there that is not collected. So be very careful. The second announcement that I have has to do with those people who have their homes that are older than 1972. They need to connect with Avon Lake Regional Water, and they need to have an inspection made so that they can have their properties separated and the laterals can be put in on time. The majority of the laterals need to be finished by February 1st. If you have any questions, call Avon Lake Regional Water. Thank you.
Thank you.